world in your pocket.
The world on your mobile.
Get the latest top stories from all over the world directly from Al Jazeera Network straight to your AfriCell line. Breaking news,
political news,
and sport news.
Be the first to get the latest on everything happening around the world by SMS on your AfriCell line.
To subscribe, type SUB and send it by SMS to 7272.
And stay up to date with the latest news from Al Jazeera Network.
All the latest news stories and headlines from across the globe.
For $1 per day, only on your AfriCell line.
Welcome back. With nearly all of Sunday's votes counted, Russia's ruling party is facing a sharp drop in public support. Prime Minister Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party has a clear majority of the State Duma in the country's lower house of parliament, but has failed to secure the so-called super majority it had in the past, and the outcome is in stark contrast to Russia's parliamentary polls in 2007. Then United Russia won two-thirds of the Duma's 450 seats. CNN's Matthew Chance has more on that story.
For the party, it's also a setback for Vladimir Putin personally, because obviously he's the leader of the United Russia, and even though many Russians regard him as being separate to the corrupt political class and not particularly personally responsible for the stagnant economy, he obviously has to share a proportion of the blame. The timing is also very important, because these parliamentary elections come just 3 months before the all-important presidential polls that are happening in March of next year. And of course Vladimir Putin is hoping to come back with a resounding majority as the new president, or the next president of Russia, possibly for the next 6 or even 12 years. And so on a personal level, this is a blow to his sort of a loss of face for him. It's a sort of embarrassment for him as well, Christy. Well, I think the Kremlin has always maintained a very high degree of pressure on opposition voices. For instance, the opposition groups in the country that really do represent an alternative vision for Russia than the ones that have been elected over these parliamentary elections. They weren't even permitted to stand because of various restrictions that are placed upon them by the authorities. But you're right, there has been a lot of election irregularities, even though election monitors say that the polls themselves were very well organised. There have been a lot of irregularities. There have been accusations of ballot stuffing, people being intimidated, of votes being misused in other ways as well. Golos, which is the main independent election monitor in Russia, has registered some 5,300 complaints across the country, which obviously cast a shadow, put a question mark above even the legitimacy of the relatively low amount of support that the United Russia Party has achieved, just under 50% at this point in the count, Christy.
The former president of Ivory Coast has made his first appearance before the International Criminal Court. Laurent Gbagbo, who has flown to The Hague last week, gave a vivid account of events leading to his arrest at the height of the civil war that engulfed the West African country. The former Ivory Coast president faces 4 charges of crimes against humanity. We have more of what Laurent Gbagbo had to say during his hearing.
Of April, the residents had already been raised to the ground, and we were fighting in some of the chambers of the residents. About 50 French tanks had surrounded the residents, while the helicopters were throwing bombs. It was under those circumstances that I was arrested. I observed my Minister of the Interior killed right in front of me. I saw my eldest son, who is still in detention in Côte d'Ivoire, and incidentally, I do not know why he was arrested. Maybe because it is simply due to the fact that he is my son. I saw him beaten. Dr. Blay, who is in Kohogo and who was my personal physician, I witnessed him being beaten. I thought he was going to die, but fortunately he survived, contrary to the case of the Minister of...
Time now to take another break. We'll be right back.
GRTS Digital FM on 98.6 and 102.6, the best FM station in town, where you can capture hundreds and thousands of potential customers with a wider coverage around the country. Advertise today and get your targeted customers. For more information, call 9933263, 9957255, or 4497331 and 9906445. GRTS Digital FM.
Welcome back. Time now to take a look at sports. Rafael Nadal has said that he will skip the defense of Spain's Davis Cup title next year after he helped his country to a 5th title in Seville on Sunday. The world number 2 blamed the packed calendar for his decision. He said that in an Olympic year and with his attempt to claim the world number 1 ranking from Novak Djokovic at the top of his priority list, the team competition was just one commitment too far. We have more of that story in this report.
Given his loyalty to his... For them, the Spaniards will surely understand. He certainly needed their backing in Sunday's first rubber against Juan Martín del Potro, as the Argentinian was intent on levelling up the 5-match tie at 2 wins apiece. Del Potro played an almost perfect first set, which he won 6-1. It was the first time Nadal had dropped a set in 10 Davis Cup singles matches since September 2008. The 10-time major winner might have been down, but he was certainly not out on his favourite clay surface, and back he came. He broke in the 10th game to win the second set 6-4, and he then powered through the third 6-1. So, only one set stood between Spain and the Davis Cup again, but Del Potro wasn't going to lose without a fight. He kept the 4th set tight, but couldn't break Nadal's serve, and so a tie-break was needed to decide it, and that's when the world number 2 stepped up several gears, finished off in style, and he sealed the victory with a trademark forehand down the line. As you can see, he was mobbed by his delighted teammates as Spain's King Juan Carlos celebrated in the stands.
And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. Hoteliers and aviation officials today held talks bordering on their operations with Vice President Jai Saidi. The Special Criminal Court has acquitted and discharged 2 NDEA operatives who were standing trial for the alleged murder of a suspected drug peddler. Russian voters have delivered a sharp rebuke to Prime Minister Vladimir Putin's United States Party, United Russia's party, in Sunday's parliamentary polls. And former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo has made his debut appearance before the International Criminal Court in The Hague. You can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website, and that's www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS radio live. That's all in the news. Thank you very much for your time, and inshallah we'll see you again at 2200 hours for another bulletin.